Death doesn't always come with a warning. Sometimes it happens in ways that nobody expects, sudden, strange, and impossible to explain. In Part 2, we're looking at 5 more deaths from 2025 that left investigators searching for answers and the public asking questions. These aren't accidents you see coming. They're the kind that make you realize how quickly everything can change. Here are 5 shocking deaths that happened this year. It was December 7, 2025, at a Russian bomber aviation regiment base. The exact location has never been shared, but what happened that day moved quickly through military aviation circles. 2 crew members, a pilot and a navigator, were inside their aircraft, which was parked in a reinforced concrete shelter. They were doing routine work on a bomber they knew well. Both men were trained to operate one of Russia's most advanced tactical bombers. But that day something went terribly wrong. A system meant to protect them turned into the very thing that ended their lives. They never walked out of the hangar. They lost their lives instantly in a way no one inside that shelter expected. To understand what happened, we need to look at how an ejection seat works. Modern military aircraft use ejection seats as a last option when everything else fails. If a pilot loses control of the aircraft or faces a life-threatening emergency, they pull a handle that sets off the ejection sequence. The canopy is blown off, the seat is pushed upward by an explosive charge, and a rocket motor carries the crew member clear of the aircraft. After that, small parachutes deploy, followed by the main one. Ejection seats are extremely powerful. They work even when the plane is on the ground and not moving. They can also work at speeds reaching up to 800 miles per hour. The force can reach around 20 times the force of gravity. It is intense and can cause physical injury, but it has saved many lives. The aircraft involved was reported to be a Sukhoi Su-34, a fighter bomber with 2 seats side by side, each with its own ejection system. These seats are designed to fire upward into the open sky. They are not meant to activate inside a concrete building. The bomber on December 7th was sitting inside a hardened shelter. These shelters have thick concrete walls and ceilings meant to protect aircraft from attacks. The plane was not preparing for takeoff. It was stationary. Then, without warning, both ejection seats fired. The explosive charges under the pilot and navigator ignited at full power. The canopy either did not blow off or made no difference because the aircraft was inside a concrete bunker. The rocket motors forced both men straight upward with enormous force, but above them was not open air. Above them was solid concrete. Both men were launched directly into the ceiling. The injuries were immediate and not survivable. The fighter-bomber telegram channel, which is connected to Russian military sources, reported the news on December 8th. It confirmed the deaths and said a state commission had been formed to investigate. How could the system activate on the ground during routine work? Investigators are considering several causes. There may have been a mechanical fault. Ejection seats are complicated, and even a small malfunction can trigger them. Maintenance errors are also possible. These systems must be handled with extreme care. Combat damage could also be a factor, since many Russian aircraft have returned from missions with hidden issues. And there is the possibility of human error. If safety pins were not in place or someone made a mistake during maintenance, the results could be deadly. This was not the first time something like this has happened. In 2021, 3 Russian crew members died when a Tu-22 M3 bomber's ejection system activated on the ground. That same year, a Su-30 SM in Crimea had an unintended ejection that injured crew members. In 2024, an Air National Guard F-15D in the United States accidentally ejected a rear seat occupant during ground operations. Beyond ejection accidents, Russia has faced other recent military mishaps. In 2025, a missile meant to hit a Ukrainian drone struck a residential building inside Russia. In 2024, an accidental bomb drop damaged a rural community. In 2023, a Su-34 dropped a bomb mid-flight, creating a massive crater and injuring civilians. For the 2 men who died on December 7th, there was no time to react. One second they were doing routine work, and the next they were gone. Their names and the location of the base have not been released. The investigation continues, but for their families, no explanation will undo what happened inside that concrete shelter. It was May 7, 2021, at a dairy farm in Hutton, near Preston, Lancashire. Joshua Hardman, a 23-year-old farmhand from Longridge, started his day like any other. He worked at Grange Lane, a farm operated by W. Hesketh and Sons. Joshua was young, dedicated, and known for being gentle and caring. He was also the father of a 5-year-old daughter he deeply loved. But what began as routine work soon became something far worse. That day, Joshua was helping one of the partners, Bill Hesketh, reseat and inflate a large tractor tire. These tires are huge and built to handle heavy use, but the one they were working on was in terrible condition. The tire was worn, the wheel rim was damaged, and the inner tube was deteriorating. All of it was poorly maintained. No one had checked whether it was safe to inflate. No risk assessment, no safety measures, nothing. As Bill began inflating the inner tube with an air compressor, Joshua stood nearby. Everything appeared normal, but inside that tire, pressure was building inside the equipment that was already failing. The damaged rim, worn tire, and weak inner tube created a dangerous situation ready to burst. Then it happened. The inner tube suddenly exploded. The release of compressed air was violent and immediate. The force launched the heavy wheel rim outward with extreme power. Joshua had no time to react. The rim struck him directly in the head. He suffered severe head injuries. Emergency crews rushed him to the hospital where doctors performed skull and brain surgery in an attempt to save him. Joshua fought for his life for a little over a month. His family stayed beside him, hoping for a change. But on June 11, 2021, his condition worsened, and he passed away at just 23 years old. His family described him as loving, kind, gentle, and devoted to his little girl. They spoke about the pain of knowing she would grow up without her father, missing the affection and guidance he would have given her. After his death, the health and safety executive began an investigation. What they found was alarming. W. Hesketh and Sons had failed to plan the task safely. They had not identified the risks of inflating large commercial tires, nor had they taken steps to control those risks. The tire, rim, and inner tube were all in a dangerous state, yet no assessment had been made to decide whether they were safe to use. Joshua had been put in harm's way without proper precautions. This was not an unavoidable event. It was the result of serious safety failures. Nearly 4 years later, on February 4, 2025, the case finally reached Preston Magistrates Court. W. Hesketh and Sons pleaded guilty to breaching Regulation 2.1 of the Health and Safety at Work Act 1974. The court fined them £80,000 and ordered them to pay £8,605 in costs. The case was presented by HSE enforcement lawyer Gemma Zakrzewski, with support from paralegal officer Rebecca Foreman. After the hearing, HSE Inspector Anthony Banks explained that Joshua's death could have been avoided with proper controls. He urged employers to correctly assess the risks before inflating large tires, which can turn into dangerous projectiles if something goes wrong. When news outlets reported the court ruling in 2025, the story drew national attention. It showed how routine tasks can turn deadly when equipment is neglected and safety checks are ignored. Joshua Hardman trusted that the work he was doing was safe. He trusted that the equipment he was using had been checked, but those responsible for ensuring his safety failed him. And because of that, a young father lost his life, and a little girl lost her dad. It was May 26, 2025, in Greene, Ohio. The town's Memorial Day parade had just begun. Families stood along the streets, kids sat on shoulders, flags moved in the breeze, music played. It was calm and friendly, and no one expected anything out of the ordinary. In the parade that morning was a 13-year-old boy named Matthew Schultz from North Canton. He was a middle school student known for being kind, caring, funny, and loyal. He loved Star Wars, fruit snacks, and video games. Friends said he was the type of person you stayed close to for life. Matthew also lived with a serious heart condition. He had been born with a congenital heart defect and had gone through many medical procedures over the years. He spent a lot of time in hospitals and worked hard to stay strong. Even when he was hurting, he tried to lift others. That day, Matthew was part of the City of Greene Memorial Day Parade. It started around 10 a.m. at Greene High School and stretched for nearly 2 miles. One float came from a children's gym called Air Ninja Gym. Instead of a decorated truck, the float was a dual-axle car hauler trailer pulled by a gray Ford F-150. It moved slowly, under 5 miles per hour, with 7 children between 7 and 13 years old riding on it. 2 adults walked beside the trailer to watch the kids. Paramedics from the Greene Fire Department followed right behind as part of parade safety. Around 11:23 to 11:30 a.m., the float reached an area about 200 feet north of the roundabout at Massillon Road and Stees Road. People watched from both sides. Kids waved. Cameras recorded. Everything looked normal. Then, in seconds, everything changed. Matthew lost his balance near the front of the trailer. He fell toward the pavement beside the moving wheels. Before the adults beside the float could react, he was struck by the trailer's tires. Witnesses were stunned. Some did not understand what they were seeing until the float stopped. The joyful energy disappeared. People went silent. Some cried, others froze. The Green Fire Department paramedics rushed forward immediately. Matthew had very severe injuries. He was taken by ambulance to Akron Children's Hospital. Emergency workers did all they could. At 12:04 p.m., just over 30 minutes after the fall, Matthew Schultz passed away. The parade could not continue in the same way. The town shifted from celebration to grief. The Summit County Medical Examiner confirmed Matthew's identity. The Summit County Sheriff's Office confirmed that the Ford F-150 was pulling the dual-axle trailer at under 5 miles per hour, with 7 children and 2 adult escorts. They stated Matthew fell from the front of the trailer and was struck by the wheels. Sheriff Candy Fothery expressed condolences and asked the public to respect the family's privacy. She said the investigation was ongoing. Green's mayor, Rocco Yergin, said the community's hearts were with the family. He said the city would review parade policies and make support services available. The 988 hotline was shared for anyone needing emotional help. Counselors were placed at Green High School for the week. North Canton City Schools activated its crisis team and described Matthew as a joyful and caring student. They offered support to students and staff. Matthew's family, through Danielle Paciorek, said he brought a lifetime of joy in only 13 years. His obituary described his loyalty, humor, and strength through his medical struggles. He was survived by his parents, sister, grandparents, and extended family. A funeral was scheduled for June 3rd. A GoFundMe was created to help with funeral costs. Members of the Green Fire Union donated $3,000 from their Memorial Day pancake breakfast. Police Sergeant Korin Usinski said that in 25 years he had never seen anything like that at a parade. The case remained under investigation. The Memorial Day ceremony later that day continued as planned, but the town had changed. Around 11:30 a.m., a simple misstep turned a peaceful event into a moment no one will forget. It was February 12, 2025, in Planalto, Brazil. A 14-year-old boy named Davi Nunes Moreira was rushed to the hospital as his body began to fail. Days earlier, he had started vomiting, losing strength, and struggling to walk. His father first assumed he had been hurt while playing, but the truth was far more serious. By the time they reached the hospital, Davi's condition was slipping fast. Doctors were confused at first. His symptoms did not match any clear illness. He had a fever, severe pain, and his organs appeared to be shutting down. No one knew why until Davi finally told them what he had done. He admitted that he had injected himself with a homemade liquid made from the remains of a dead butterfly. The idea came from a strange challenge spreading online. He had crushed the butterfly, mixed it with water, and injected it into his leg. Soon after, his body reacted violently. Doctors believed he may have suffered a severe allergic reaction, a serious infection, or even a blockage in his bloodstream. Any of these issues could quickly turn fatal. Before reaching the hospital, Davi hid the truth from his father. He kept saying his pain came from a small injury. But when he could no longer walk and began vomiting nonstop, his father rushed him to get help. Even then, doctors struggled to understand why his condition kept getting worse. Medical staff worked nonstop to save him. He was moved to another hospital in Vitória da Conquista, where specialists tried new treatments. But after 7 days, Davi passed away. The cause of death was not immediately known, and investigators began looking into the possibility that he had followed an online challenge despite his denial. The butterfly he used was believed to be similar to the monarch species, which carries toxic chemicals meant to protect it from predators. Experts were unsure how dangerous those fluids could be when injected into the bloodstream, but they agreed that it could lead to infection, tissue damage, or a severe immune reaction. In Davi's case, it appeared his body went into septic shock, causing multiple organ failure. Police searched his belongings and found the syringe under his pillow. Autopsy and toxicology tests were ordered to confirm what happened. While the investigation continued, people across Brazil reacted with shock. Many questioned how a young teenager could be drawn into something so risky. Online users wrote messages of sympathy for his family, saying he likely did not understand how much danger he was in. Experts also spoke about the growing influence of online challenges. Some urged parents and schools to be more aware of what young people encounter on social media. Others suggested deeper investigations into platforms that allow such harmful trends to spread. It was not the first time a challenge had caused serious harm. Just the year before, a Brazilian influencer nearly lost her toes after attempting an ice and salt challenge. As news of Davi's death spread, people discussed how difficult it is to control dangerous viral trends. Young people can feel pressured to try things they do not fully understand, especially when these challenges appear everywhere online. The investigation into Davi's death continued as authorities waited for final medical reports. But even before answers arrived, his story had already sparked a difficult conversation. It pushed many to think about how to protect children and teenagers from risky online influence, especially when harmful ideas travel so quickly. Davi's story shook many people. He was a young boy with a full life ahead of him, yet a single moment of curiosity and pressure from the internet led to a tragic ending. His family is left to face a loss that can never be undone, while the rest of the world is reminded of how easily dangerous information can spread, and how important it is to guide the young before they face those choices alone. It was August 15, 2025, in Pullenvale, a quiet area west of Brisbane, Australia. Ty Babbidge, a 55-year-old real estate agent, was ending his Friday evening. The sun was going down, and he decided to finish some yard work at a private property on Grandview Road. He was using a ride-on lawnmower, something he had likely done many times before. But this time, things would take an unexpected turn. Ty had spent years working for Brisbane real estate. He was well known in the western suburbs, not only for his work but for his character. People described him as generous, cheerful, and sincere. He cared deeply about his family, and those around him said they meant everything to him. Sometime between 7:30 and 7:45 p.m., Ty continued mowing as daylight faded. Ride-on mowers are common in Australia, especially in areas with large yards. They make the work easier, but they are also heavy machines that must be handled with care. What happened next likely took only a few seconds. The mower became unstable. This could have been caused by uneven ground, a soft patch of soil, or a slope that wasn't obvious at first glance. Whatever it was, the machine shifted in a way Ty did not expect. He would have tried to steady the mower or get off quickly, but the movement was too sudden. Either he lost his footing or the mower tilted more sharply than he anticipated. The heavy machine then tipped over, trapping him underneath. Ride-on mowers weigh several hundred pounds, and once they flip, they can pin someone down instantly. Ty could not free himself. Emergency services received a call reporting a serious incident at the property. Police were contacted around 7:45 p.m. Officers and paramedics rushed to the scene, knowing accidents with heavy equipment often lead to severe injuries. But when they arrived, Ty had already passed away. Queensland police confirmed there was no sign of intentional harm or involvement from anyone else. Everything pointed to a tragic, unpredictable accident. The forensic crash unit began preparing a report for the coroner, reviewing the terrain, the mower, and the position of the machine. Early findings supported the same conclusion: an unexpected mechanical loss of balance that turned fatal in moments. News spread quickly through Pullenvale. Ty was not just a real estate agent, he was part of the community. Many families had gotten their homes with his help. Many people had known him for years. Kel Gush, the director of Brisbane Real Estate and Ty's colleague for 10 years, spoke to the Courier-Mail. He said Ty was one of the most generous and genuine people he had ever known, adding that Ty cared deeply for everyone but especially for his family. 2 days later, on August 17th, Ty's family posted a statement on Facebook. They wrote, "Our beloved Ty has passed away. Ty was greatly loved by his family, friends, and the community." They thanked everyone for their support and signed the message as the Babbidge family. Soon the online tributes began. One person wrote, "He was the most generous and kind person I ever met." Another said, "Such a special man. We will miss him." Someone else shared that they had spoken with Ty just the week before and remembered how happy he seemed. This accident also brought attention to a broader issue. Ride-on mowers cause injuries across Australia every year. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission reports about 2 deaths each year from these machines. A study from 1998 to 2002 found that out of 541 mower-related injuries recorded in certain Queensland hospitals, 65 involved ride-on mowers. These machines are useful, but their weight and the uneven terrain they work on mean they can become unstable without warning. For Ty, that Friday was supposed to be a normal evening. But in seconds, everything changed. The mower tipped, and he became trapped before help could reach him. He was 55 years old, with a strong career, a close family, and a community that respected him. Pullenvale lost a neighbor, a friend, and someone who made the area better simply by being part of it. Ty's family asked for privacy, and the community stood by them, sharing memories of a man who cared deeply for others and who left a lasting mark on everyone who knew him.